I received I received the travel, like the itineraries from Egypt and beyond today, and I will send them all out to everybody and just check to make sure that your arrival and your departure time are correct for in and out of Cairo, to make sure that lines up because I know there's been a bunch of schedule changes and that kind of thing. So when you get it, just have a look over and make sure that matches. I know right now, so today, if you're watching it, I'm not sure when you're watching, if someone's watching it, but it's October 25th. And we know obviously what is happening over in the neighbors of Egypt's neighbors. But everything, I don't know about you, but everything I'm reading, people that are in Egypt, in fact, my husband's uncle is there right now in Cairo. And he's like, Julie, it's just like it would have been when you were here last year. The only thing that's different is the value of their Egyptian pound has gone down, unfortunately. So you said for the locals, it's been more difficult, but there's no like Cairo, I think, is about 5 hour drive from the border. And then where you're going from Cairo, flying down to Luxor south and then down to Aswan is just like some of the parts along the river is just countryside. So you're away from the busyness and like relatively speaking far away from conflict. So we're of course keeping an eye on everything and like I sort of mentioned in my email, but if there was any risk at all that there was a danger to tourists, then Tarek, the owner of Egypt and Beyond, would cancel the tour. And he's done that a couple times in the past. He's been doing this for about 30 years. So he assured me that, and I have no doubt, like that's the last thing that they would want, right? To put anyone in danger. So I think we just, focus on the trip and looking forward to it. And we just keep an eye on. We never know. This happened really quickly. Like we don't know. Um, but just know that it's totally like top of mind for us in making sure that you're safe. So I'm going to pull up one of the itineraries. I'm just going to talk about the Egypt part of the trip. So anyone who's doing an extension, we can talk about that separately. But just the Egypt trip. And what I'll do is just go through the itinerary quickly and then just add some little notes about like little tips and things to expect. So um first of all, I know I mentioned this before, but you'll arrive into Cairo and you'll look for that Egypt and Beyond sign, which will have your name on it. And then Nellie will take you right through customs and down to the baggage area. She waits with you while you get your bags and takes you right to the transfer, which is like a little bus. I think it's like a 12 passenger van or that type of where the driver will be waiting for you and will take you to your hotel. Now, depending on what time you arrive, I think when we got there it was quite late because our bags took a little longer to get out, but it only took us about half an hour, maybe even 20 minutes to get to the hotel. But usually, because of traffic, it can be on average about 45 minutes. Could be even an hour to get there. But it's interesting as you're driving around and you're just like, even all the time you're in Cairo, you're looking out the window and it's like, oh, there's a motorcycle with five people on it. There's a horse and buggy, and there's like a little market, and this person selling like whatever on the street. Like it's just you're always looking out and just seeing how like people are just living their lives, and it's really interesting. I find the time went by really fast whenever we were driving anywhere. One other thing I just wanted to mention. Oh my gosh. You know the Grand Egyptian Museum? They've been building it for like 10 years at least, and it's still not ready. It's probably not going to open until March is now the newest date. So I know we didn't promise anything because there's no guarantees. So just in case you're curious about that, I asked about it today and they said it's looking like then, but who knows if that will actually happen. So when you arrive at the hotel, the Steigenberger, we've all have the rooms set up. They'll be waiting for you when you arrive. And the rooms will be set up either with one king or two beds, depending on what you asked me for. It has the lobby has a nice lobby bar with you can get drinks and stuff, and then there's a restaurant, which is the where your buffet is in the morning. And it also has an ATM machine in the lobby. So this is totally safe to use. You can either use your debit card to take out Egyptian pounds if you want to have some local cash. Or you can also, I found what we did was you can put your US cash in there and then it'll convert it into Egyptian pounds if you want to have local. It doesn't it doesn't really matter either way. So since I was there even just 1 year ago, that the Egyptian pound has been devalued. So right now you're getting about 20 Egyptian pounds for 1 Canadian or 30 for $1 US. So it's handy to keep I just rounded it. That's something handy to keep in mind when you're in the market or you're going to buy something or even at a restaurant, then you kind of have an idea like how much that actually costs. Um, I would plan really to bring a lot of like $1 bills, US dollar bills if you can. There's so what we've done in this trip because Egypt is such a I think I talked about this before, but it's such a tipping culture. Like everywhere you turn, somebody's got their hand out for a tip and it can just drive you crazy. But it's just the way it is there. And I know they're going through some tough times. So I think if I were to go back, I'd be, just be like a little bit more generous and keeping that in mind. But you know, um, we've included to make it easier, we've included the tipping for like porterage, for the staff on the cruise, for the transfer drivers, as well as any boats that you take. Like sometimes there's a little boat transfer. So that's all included. So what the main tips will be for, which if I were you, I would just put that aside and put it in an envelope for later, is for Marwa, who will be your main guide, and then Nellie, who will be the airport host. She does so much. So I would recommend 150 US for Marwa and $50 for Nellie. And just keep, yeah, like I said, just keep that in a in an envelope and put it aside. But the rest is things like whenever you go to use a washroom, there'll be somebody there like cleaning, or usually they'll have like a basket or a little thing you can put money in. Sometimes in the sightseeing areas, if you ask somebody for directions, or if somebody comes and wants to take your picture, like for sure you need to tip them. Even they act like their long lost friend and they're just happy to do it. Or sometimes you'll be in a in a tomb area and they're like, oh, come here, you can get a better picture over here. You can go, but just know that they'll have their hand out for a tip after. Yeah. And maybe it's awesome. Like one of the ladies we were with got a picture like of King Tut, like his right on top of his face. Like that would be really deep. But yeah, they do want something for that. I think too, as far as tipping goes, if you feel like anybody else really went out of their way, like the staff on the cruise, you're going to absolutely love them. So if you want to give them above and beyond what is included, then by all means, like, they're grateful and they're so wonderful. You'll just want to take them home with you. So, um, so I would do that. But there are bank machines that you can take out money if you need some, but otherwise I plan to bring US dollars because that's just more stable currency. They can still use it. And but if you want to have some local for bartering, and that is great too. And cash would be for the markets as well. And the other thing, sorry, one more thing, if there's like an included lunch. So for example, in the market on one of the first days in Cairo, there's an included lunch. So just like a couple dollars after your meal, they appreciate that. Um, so that would sort of the overall tipping wise. And then just generally I recommend bringing, I don't know, I'm hungry all the time, so I always have to have snacks. So I brought some protein bars or granola bars and just chucked them in my bag. So in case you get hungry and you're not, it, in between meals or whatever, I just would pull out one of those. Also fruit from breakfast you can put in your bag. Like, just keep that in mind. And oh, and just because, okay, so it's Halloween time. So you'll find, okay, through the um trip, especially along the Nile, there's kids that'll come up to your boat. They're sitting on kind of like almost like a kayak or surfboard kind of thing. And they're so cute and they're singing Frere Jacques and they're, you know, and so what Marwa recommended is just like maybe bring a bag of candy, like Halloween candy, little chocolates or something, and you can give them out and they absolutely love that. So that's better for the kids than giving them money because sometimes they'll buy cigarettes or tobacco or something. So she said, yeah, something that she recommended, and it is so much less expensive if you bring it from home than if you buy the chocolates there, like any kind that anyways. So I'd recommend that. And otherwise, yeah, let me go through. I'm just going to pull up just going to share my screen. Just
I'm
make
the
sure I
screen
can.
share.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Hang on.
And otherwise, I mean, I'm not going to I don't need to go through the day by day itinerary. Maybe I'll just go over it generally, which is totally fine. So in some of the museums, just so you know ahead of time, um, sorry, first of all, I should say for Egypt, they're very cautious about you bringing like any fancy cameras, like beyond what you'd have, like just a little point and shoot. So if you have anything with a special lens, it needs special permission. And even if they authorized it, I would highly recommend against bringing it just because I've been hearing stories where you may be allowed, and then you could be at a monument taking pictures, and somebody will, like security, will come over and say either confiscate it or they'll say, like, yeah, you can have it back. This is how much you have to pay. So it's just better if not. I know there's a couple people have already asked for some special permission, and I haven't even heard. We had to apply to the antiquities department or something like that to get authorization. So I would just not. I mean, cell phones these days take really good photos. So um, you may not need it, but and and then in regards to that, there are some places. So one of the first on one of the first days, it's so fun because you're going to go to Egypt. You're going to go to Cairo first. You see the museums, you'll see the mummies, you see, all the artifacts and stuff, and then you actually go out to the site, and then it comes alive. So, but there's places like in the Egyptian Museum, which is close to your hotel. That one, there's an area where you'll get to see King Tut's like his golden mask. So that's a special entrance and you can't take any photos in there. And it's the same thing when with the one of the other museums where there's the mummies, you can't take photos. So just keep an eye out for that. And so you won't be surprised. Um, the first day is the day you're doing the Egyptian Museum. You have a wonderful lunch overlooking the pyramids, and the food is delicious. In Egypt, I loved all the food. There's no spice really. It's a lot of like, there's kind of some dips and bread and rice and like tomato based, veggie based food, but I never ate anything that was spicy. So if you like your hot sauce, maybe you want to bring some along. Um, so that's, yeah, fabulous lunch. And then you'll have your time at the pyramids right away. You'll go to see the Sphinx and go in between the paws of the Sphinx. And then that night, there's going to be Nellie. She's actually going to take you on a food tour in the evening. So she's going to, it's just nice because, I mean, in the hotels, if you're eating often, the hotels are on the cruise, they like to appeal to more North American, whereas it's nice to get into the streets and try more authentic Egyptian food. So you will um she'll take you there, and it's completely like all the food is um safe to eat, and she'll look after you, and it will be actually a lot of fun. So I'm excited to hear about that. Next day you're gonna do the Saqqara, which you see like how they kind of just came up with the Great Pyramid. So you see the different step pyramids. And then you'll go to a mosque. And the mosque, it's interesting. They give you like little booties to wear over your shoes. Um, and then that day, you're going to have lunch at a really great restaurant inside the Hana Khalili Bazaar. It's a really tasty place. And it's like you're behind the market. But as far as shopping goes, there's like because the dollar goes, I mean, it went far and now it's even going further. I would like just yeah, have fun. And they're really friendly. I would say just and Marwa will coach you through that. But if there's anything you like, just I regret sometimes like you see something and you're like, oh, I'm gonna think about it, and then you never see it again. So if you see something you like, probably just get it because you might not see it again. But that Hana Halili Bazaar is probably one of the most like have will have the most variety of little knickknacks, t-shirts, jewelry boxes, and that kind of thing. And then that evening you are free, like they'll bring you back to the hotel. You might be like I found last year, most people were really full from lunch, and so you might not want anything. But the restaurant, they have really good room service. Or the restaurant at the Steigenberger is really good, and you can get like all sorts of things. You can even get a hamburger if you want. Um, and so you could eat there. And Nellie will also tell you there's a great shawarma place that you can walk to close by, and also there's a French cafe across the street. That's good. And another Egyptian restaurant close by. So easy. It's kind of like a busy-ish area, but it's not you feel unsafe. You won't follow anyone that's like, oh, I know the way to that restaurant. No, you do not. Don't go with anybody. Um, and then the following day, you're going to do the Abu Surga Hanging Church and Coptic Museum. Super interesting. That's going to be a really great day. Again, that evening, the dinner, because you're going to have lunch included, and then that you'll have dinner on your own that night as well. And then from there, the next day you're going to fly and to Luxor, and Nellie's going to have all your airline tickets. So anytime, like so she'll like Marwa will tell you what time to be ready the next day, and she and Nellie will have all your airline tickets for your flights within Egypt. So you don't need to worry about that at all. So she'll tell you what time the transfer is leaving, what time the flight is, and you'll be good to go. Um, in Luxor, your hotel is up. I know they always say this hotel or similar, but your hotel, it's also Steigenberger Nile Palace Hotel. It's upgraded from what it was originally in the itinerary, and it's a really nice hotel. So that's kind of an R&R day. It's a little warmer down there. The hotel's right on the Nile. It feels like a resort. And you can sort of like, well, sorry, you get upon when you arrive in Luxor, they're going to take you to Dendara, which is one of the temples. It's super colorful, the ceiling. It was my favorite. And then, but by the time you get to the hotel, you'll have like the lunch and basically mid-morning, you'll have the rest of the day free. We went out to just a Egyptian restaurant that was on the Nile that evening. Food was amazing. It was nice to sit outside in the warm weather. So don't be afraid of that. The hotel has a buffet dinner if you prefer, and it's like anything you can imagine there. The fall, so that's sort of like we planned it where it's not a late night because you have a really early morning the next day to do hot air balloon. So the hot air balloon ride, you get up, I think it's could be like three or four in the morning. The hotel will pack you a lunch box on the way. They pick you up at the hotel, then they take you to the river and you get onto these river boats. You have tea, and it's just enough time to get to the other side. And then you get into a van and they take you to the site where they're launching the balloons, and just watching them all lit up. I don't know if you've done that before at the sunrise, but they're filling all of them up with hot air and they're glowing. And then you get in, and there can be up to 30 people in one air balloon. So and just be prepared. You hop over the side. There's no door, so they'll help you. But um, the pilot is amazing. Tells you all about like everything that you're seeing, and you see the sunrise, and you see the greenery along the Nile, and then you see desert. It's quite spectacular. Um, and then after that, like so, then you go to the Valley of the Kings and Queens, and you've seen from the balloon. There's a couple entrances that are included there that you'll really like. And then that day is the day you'll check into the Nile cruise. And yeah, Nellie, she just was on the ship. It was renovated, I think, just a couple of years ago. She said it's really beautiful and great hospitality. And so all your meals will be included for the next 4 days when you're on the ship. That evening, so you'll get on the ship, you'll have your dinner, and then you're going to go out to the Sound and Light show, which is at Karnak Temple. It's not very far. I can't even remember, maybe like 20 minutes. But it's cool because there's huge columns and they light them all up and they tell a story and then it's around this lake kind of at the end. And yeah, it's warm out and just like a nice evening, a nice place to kind of walk and go to after dinner. And then they'll bring you back to the ship where you'll overnight. And then you'll do Luxor Temple and Karnak in the daytime, just a kind of a quick run through it because you can't see all the engravings and stuff at night. So um, you'll see that in the day in the Valley of the Sphinx. Um, then you'll sail. Then the next day, there's not too much, I guess, for the to tell you about. But the next stops, like no, Marwa will tell you what to expect the couple days, and then all the stories and everything that come to life. In one of the stops in Edfu, it's a little more um rustic, I'd say, for the accommodation or for the transportation to get to the temple. So it will be most likely there's an option of a horse and buggy or a van, or I think they can. I can't remember what the last one was. Anyways, we took the van. It's not up to the same standard as the other buses that you'll be on, but it's fine. It's totally fine. I wouldn't recommend the horse and buggy, and Marwa doesn't either because they're very rickety. She said she's seen wheels fall off and them topple over, and it's very dangerous. So yeah, I know you might be adventurous, but we don't want anyone getting hurt. So um, she will explain that. And then, yeah, and then you have another day of sightseeing and all just different, like Temple of Horus and the temples, like the crocodile god. And it's just really fun. They're all different. And then one of the last days, you'll go visit the high dam that they created. I think it was in 1960 is when they built the dam. And it's pretty fascinating just to see it see it on both sides and how it was built. And then you're going to go visit that Hessa camp, which is the Nubian village. And this is one that Marwa really likes. And it's really quite authentic. It's not touristy. So it's not like you're going to go there and they're going to do a little song and dance for you. Like you're really visiting the people. So they may bake you some like sun bread or I'm not sure if they'll even be like selling anything, but the Nubian people, like all their villages are so colorful, like bright blues and yellows and reds, and um they're really kind people. So that will be a really special day is doing that visit. Then the following day, you get off the boat and fly to Abu Simbel. So that'll be early-ish. Um, in the morning, you'll get off the ship and your bags will be all taken care of for you. Go back to the airport in Aswan, or not back to, go to the airport in Aswan, and you'll fly to Abu Simbel. And Egypt and Beyond has like a private bus, for you that will meet you when you get there and take you to the Abu Simbel site. and you'll tour around there probably for, it's not even that long, like an hour and a half. You can see it all. But this is the like one of the ones that was moved, and it's yeah, it's pretty fascinating. They actually had a neat market there where they sold a lot of spices and teas. So if there's anything you're looking for or you need, it's a good spot to buy it. And then you'll transfer back to the airport and fly over to Cairo. Goes by so fast. And you're going to be staying at the beautiful Nile Ritz-Carlton that evening, and you'll have a special farewell dinner there along the Nile. And it's time already. So it's but you'll feel like, I mean, yeah, not too long, you're going to see so many things. Along the way too, I um there's a few places where you'll stop where you have the opportunity to buy different things. Like one of the comments from our trip, we didn't visit a cotton shop or factory. So I added that in. Some people like to buy tea towels or like Egyptian cotton items. There's another place where they sold like, I think I was saying this before, like essences. So I have like a mint one I use in the steam shower. They're really nice and strong, and you can get it at like perfume ones or medicinal ones. Um, and yeah, just want to let you know ahead of time in case there's some, just so you can think about it. Because when I was there, I was like, I can't decide. And I wish I bought a bunch because it was really nice. Um, oh, and also, okay, you go to, want to show you this. This is alabaster. So you can stop in an alabaster factory and they'll like carve your name or anything in whatever you want. I just got this for putting a tea light in. But yeah, so like some people will get scarabs, and they have sorts of things. And then it is, if you ever want gold, it's a good place to buy gold. They'll take you to a jewelry shop, and a lot of people on our trip bought a cartouche where it has your name spelt in the hieroglyphs. So as a memento, like a for a necklace, but you can get little like um, pendants and things like that too. And different stones, like bright, I can't remember what kinds, but bright blue and different colors. So that was nice. And then on the ship, one of the nights they have they call it Egyptian Oriental. So I was confused when I saw this, but Oriental, it means like it's like Egyptian, like Middle Eastern food, not like what we think it is Asian. So they have a Egyptian Oriental night where you can dress up, and I would encourage you because it's a little bit more fun. I bought this Egyptian galabeya. So these are like house dresses, and they're all sorts like of colors, and they're super comfy. Like some people just bought them for home, so you can it's long and you can wear it in the summertime around the house. But Paulette, if you want to borrow mine, I'll bring it for you. But they're like $10, and it's just super fun that night because people are dancing, they have the music, like Egyptian music, and yeah, it was fun to dress up. So I would encourage you to, because they have they have a shop on the ship. They should have one that you can buy them, but they're everywhere at the markets. But I just found like the people who had them and got involved, it was just a little bit more fun. Um, just thinking, I just wanted to see if there's anything. Do you have any questions for me? Seeing if I forgot.
For the hotels, when we're checking in and stuff, we'll take our credit cards for like no.
No, they just look after it all. So if you, okay, yeah, that's one thing I did want to mention. No, so now Nellie and Marwa, everything's taken care of. So basically, when you check in, they almost just immediately will give you your room keys to go to your room, so you don't have to leave a credit card at each of the places. Um, it's like you're not gone a long time, but if you want to do laundry, it's really inexpensive, and they you send it away and it comes back like not very environmentally friendly, but each piece is in a little plastic, um, like as if you bought it brand new with with a cover, and it's all sealed up. So yeah, it's really inexpensive and quick if you want to do any laundry, even if just before you go home. But
You
yeah,
can use your
but
credit
that
card.
you would pay.
Yeah, yeah. You can use
Yes.
your credit card for paying things like for the gold if you go to a gold shop and You're going to spend a few
Yes.
dollars. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, 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 you totally can. Yeah, any of those places I just mentioned, you can buy, you can
Mhm.
use your credit card. And especially they're vetted like
Yeah.
um through Egypt and beyond, so you don't have to worry. But yeah, in the markets I would just use cash.
Okay.
Anything there? Yeah. Um but yeah, anything extra you could charge to your room, like if you were gonna stay there for dinner or lunch or whatever.
Richard had a question.
Yeah.
Um, can't remember if you told us drink bottled water there or
Yes. Yeah. Just drink bottled water. I used it even to brush my teeth. Um, I didn't rinse my mouth out in the shower, like or anything like that. I always just used the bottled water. And they'll have plenty. Like you don't have to buy any. They'll have always on the bus, they have bottled water. They have it always in your room, your hotel room. You won't run out of it. But yeah, just stick to the bottled water to be on the safe side. And if you do go out, and I think Marwa will tell you and Nelly and stuff, just don't usually try not to have like a salad or something that's would be washed in like that would be fresh, not cooked. Try to stick to cooked vegetables.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. But on the boat, everything's purified. And same thing like the hotel. Um, and at the Steigenberger, their breakfast is just like out of this world. I've never seen such a great buffet breakfast. Yeah. But anything you have there, you don't have to worry about it all. Yeah. So
and our visas we're to print them off. Is that something we keep on our personal self, or are you going to be requesting a copy of them or anything?
no, you can just keep them. And once you show them one time, like they will probably ask to see them before you leave here. And they may ask when you get to Cairo, but then you won't have to show it again, ever again. So yeah, and it's up to you to have the visa. So it's not something that we need to have ahead of time, or they don't need it. Egypt and beyond doesn't. Yeah. And
Did I stop the recording?
sure.
Okay.
Thanks.